So let us begin to put some colors, shades, and details to our painting of unified meditation. As you can see in the diagram, there are four forces that define physics. Rather than say physics, we should say there are four forces that control the physical world that we know of. First, there is the gravitational force. This one we experience every day as we walk, run, and do not fall or do not fly off. The next is the electromagnetic force. This one we experience in the form of the sunlight, first of all, and even friction is due to it. Nowadays, we have made artificial use of electromagnetic force in the form of wireless communication, mobile devices, and so on. The next force is the strong force. We do not experience it directly, but we have to infer that exist. It is the force that holds our atoms together in our bodies and in every object that we see. Without this strong force, we would be disintegrating every moment, and everything around us would be vanishing into thin air. The fourth force is the weak force that appears when the atoms decompose. That is also required because when, for example, somebody dies, the cells must decompose and vanish into the air. Also, many of you might have heard about carbon dating. It's a process with which the carbon content in objects decay, and it has a particular rate at which it does so. Well, that is also because of this weak force. Again, this is not physics book, and I am no physicist. I'm just bringing in those forces to make our unified meditation interesting. Look at the diagram, and at the bottom you will see the meditating man, and there's sets of batteries beside him. What I'm trying to tell you is that through unified meditation you can change the values of the various forces. The current values are written in the table at the top, and that is why we feel gravity, and that is why we cannot teleport ourselves at will. However, when we meditate, we increase our willpower, and basically our spiritual powers become magnified. Consequently, by changing the values of the four forces, we could theoretically fly, disappear, disintegrate, become smaller, become bigger, transmit information across vast distances without any mediums. So, in your unified meditation, you can just imagine that you are playing around with the values of those four forces, and at least your spiritual body will be liberated from the force of gravity and the strong force, the weak force, and even the electromagnetic forces. You could harness them in the spiritual world. The world is at your hands in your meditation. I will not go into further details of this analogy with the four forces because, as I told you, it is just an extra layer I added to enrich your unified meditation experience. In the earlier section, I mentioned about spiritual powers. I told you that if we were somehow able to increase the spiritual power through our unified meditation, we would be able to change the values of the gravitational forces, and thus we'd be able to do magical feats, at least in our spiritual world. In this section, I want to talk about what I mean by spiritual power. Take a look at the diagram. You will see our meditating man. The arrow leads him through a process of unified meditation consisting of 6 steps. I will discuss that in the next chapter. Then, once the meditator masters those 6 components of meditation, then he will develop his spiritual power as shown in the graph. So, with every time unit of unified meditation practice performed, the spiritual power is shown to increase. Each of the line diagrams represents various types of meditators. For some people, it is a gradual process to the full manifestation of spiritual powers. For others, it is slow at the beginning and then it's an exponential growth at the end. Yet for some, it is up and down, fluctuating, but never reaching the full extent. Below that diagram, you will see that there are 9 levels of a spiritual power that I have defined. The spiritual power that I talked about in the earlier section is level 9 spiritual power. That is, if you want to really bring changes in the gravitational force value or the electromagnetic force value in the physical world. In the mythological stories, at least, we have been told that it is possible, and some yogis and saints have done it. We cannot fully disqualify their claims, but in terms of unified meditation, I believe that it would be possible to tweak the value of the 4 forces in a limited area for a limited time. Anyways, that's an open-ended possibility I leave for both the meditator and the researchers. So the first level of the superpower is to bring changes in our own thinking and the way we move our spiritual bodies during our meditation. To be able to separate your soul from your mind and body consciousness itself is a great power. So this is level 1. In level 2, you are able to alter the cognitive and emotional patterns of your mind. That is a very hard process. In my counseling session, I had the opportunity, or should I say, the inevitability to deal with some criminal minded teenagers. I didn't know how to guide them, so I read a 500-page book about this topic written by an expert in the field. So in a week I was ready. What I learned from the book is that people become criminal minded not because of the environment or genetics or even trauma. Instead, it is because their brains are wired in a certain way, and this means that they think and feel, react in a certain way that is very harmful to society, and thus they are criminal. So the only way to change them is not through prison or harsh punishment or even the do good, be good type of counseling. They have to observe each of their thought, and they have to transform their thoughts at the budding or thinking level itself. Once the criminal thought moves on from that bud stage, then there is no way anybody or themselves can remove the criminality element from their thinking, feeling, and consequent actions. Anyways, what I'm getting at is level 2 is all about changing your cognition and feelings, and that is a very hard process. The third level is having the ability to change one's own body. So many people who are thin and they become muscular, or they are fat and they become slim, need a tremendous amount of willpower to do that. And that would also fall in this particular superpower level. So that is not required that you do meditation to lose weight, but those who practice meditation will find it very much easier to transform their bodies from one shape to another. Level 4 superpower is about having an effect on surrounding non-living objects. For example, you could make plant grow healthier if you are a gardener. With unified meditation, even if you do not seek it, there will be small incidents around you that will be affected, like a fuse going on, or a fuse that should have gone that did not go, watches stopping at a certain time that is very meaningful, the computer crashing at a particular time, trying to say something that was broken being fixed on its own, a creaking sound here, a tweaking sound there. So these are all the effects of a heightened consciousness that is usually due to meditation of some kind, but not necessary. In the scriptures, we hear or read of the stories whereby a certain god or saint or yogi, upon his birth there would be a thunder or a sunlight or a change in weather. Now these are the superpowers that I'm talking about. The person who has those superpowers, either due to meditation or some other past good karma, somehow affect the values and the processes of physics, and consequently we have abnormalities. We can also call of them synchronicities, something that we discussed earlier on, but they are just signs that you have attained a certain superpower. Usually they don't have any other purpose. In some horror movies, you will remember that when the star is very angry, then through some forces that is not the normal physics, the bulb started to blast and things fly out. I'm not talking to such extent, but there will be very minor physical abnormalities, which I listed to you earlier on. If you have experienced them, remember that it signifies a certain level of consciousness that you have reached. For those who are practicing unified meditation or similar, then they know what to expect and they had been waiting for it. But it also occurs for people who have no idea of meditation. How so? Well, it's because either in their past life they were highly accomplished meditators, or in this life they did some very excellent good karma. Alternatively, you could get those kind of effect on objects around you when you were a very good person and suddenly you developed anger and you have a revengeful thought. So this sudden lights going off, fuse going off, a glass suddenly losing balance and breaking are just omens for you to reconsider your thoughts. This type of anomalies would occur only for those good human beings who are deviating, of course. Those who are practiced and aware would recognize those signs and get back on track, but some of them would be so much consumed with anger and desire lust that they would not be able to be stopped and they would carry on with their vengeance. What happens after, we all know. Level 5 superpower is to be able to affect people who are suggestible, who are from our past life connections. When you reach a certain level of unified meditation, you don't need a mobile device to communicate with other people. Somehow you break the forces of electromagnetism, and the thoughts that you have go directly to the other person. However, it's not possible to affect everybody. In level 5, you are able to affect people who are from your past life, like your old family members, business colleagues, enemies, strangers who provided you help or who looted you, people who killed you or whom you killed, whom you swined or whom you fell victim to. And again, you cannot influence all of them. At level 5, they would need to be suggestible, meaning that their minds should be open to minute vibrations. So the level of suggestion you can transmit, which might not be their direct decisions, is to talk to you, to give you a job, to accept a proposal, to think in a certain way, to stop doing certain things, to start doing certain things, and so on. The suggestion could be direct, that is face to face, or it could be indirect. That means that you could desire a person to come to a certain place at a certain time, whom you do not know, but you think that this person exists. Now, this suggestion will create the synchronicity with which you will meet at that person, at that place, and at that time. Of course, pure thinking cannot suggest the person to behave contradictorily to his whim without some strong communication skills on the part of the meditator. That would be developed in his unified meditation practice, even though he might not be educated in that. Yes, these are the perks of meditation, mastering skills without actually trying to do so. Level 6 is the ability to affect suggestible people, and they don't need to be from your past life connections. So it's the same as above, except that they are freshers in this life whom you have never met in earlier lives. Now your spiritual power is increasing, and the electromagnetic force that your brain is throwing is very high. Again, we do not know exactly which force is involved in the suggestion process of individuals. At this point, it is just conjecture that electromagnetic forces are involved. In level 7, it's the same thing as above, except that now you are able to affect non-suggestible people with past life connections. So these people are not influenced by ads on television or Instagram or YouTube. They are very self-centered and stubborn, but somehow when they feel your presence and see you, they just agree with everything you say. Again, it's best that it should be in their interest. That is what you say to them to do. If your suggestions and influence is biased towards you and their detriment, I don't need to tell you what will happen in the end. Level 8 is the ability to influence non-suggestible people with no past life karma. That's pretty much covers everybody in the world for you. So at the height of your unified meditation, the billions of people are at your fingertips. Isn't that a wonderful thought, to be so powerful? Wouldn't you want to stop all the wars and inequalities and unfairness in the world once you reach that stage? Well, when you reach level 8, you would pretty much know that all those evils that we term as violence, injustice, are part of the karmic cycle, and there is no point of stopping them. Instead, what we can do is try to convince people to learn and tolerate pain that they receive, that they are inflicted on by others. Basically, level 8 is all about bringing more and more people to format 3 living. And then once you are able to do that, you would erase yourself. And it's not like a politician or a dictator trying to rule the world. This influence is so silent that nobody would know. Currently, it is said that Mahavatar Babaji of the book by Yogananda is living, and he is influencing people in level 8 in our categorization. He doesn't care about the glory or whether people know him or not. He just does his job. I'm sure that there are other living yogis whom we would never have heard of. This world could not be in balance like it is today without such eminent souls amidst us. Finally, we have level 9 that I brushed on early on. Here, it's the space of the gods and the demigods who are able to yield thunders, make volcanoes, blasts, make the earth shake, make the universe collapse, and so on. They would have total control over the values of the 4 forces of nature. That would be possible, and you could reach that level 9, but by then why would you misuse your powers? Nature will follow its own course. It has its own rules, and the laws of karma will be followed by the universal karmic system, so why bother? It is possible that Jesus exhibited all his miracles, like parting the Red Sea, which is of the biggest scale. I mean, in unified meditation, I don't think we have to rule out any possibility. The bending of the laws of physics is possible in a certain space for a certain time. I do not believe that all those great writers and yogis lied when they said that they had witnessed their masters do miracles of all kinds, breaking the laws of physics. I believe that it was a one time incident, and through the power of unified meditation or similar, the imagination would cross that thin line, and the soul work would actually impact the forces of nature themselves, albeit for a very short time in a small space. So, in this way, I describe to you the spiritual powers that can be attained through unified meditation. I link that concept to the 4 forces of physics in order to make it sound more scientific and believable. However, I do not want you to stick to this analogy and take it only as a detour to make meditation more fun for you. Do not worry, I'll not be taking any test on physics or any subject matter I cover here.